Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is, I forget if it's Wednesday or Thursday. I think it's Wednesday, June 26th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And no, it's Thursday. I'm sorry. Today's Thursday, the 26th. I don't know where the week went. It's just been a crazy week for me. If you were looking for a chart lesson yesterday and couldn't find it, don't worry. The reason you couldn't find it is because there wasn't one. I hate that I didn't have a chance to do one, but I've just been so far behind after the vacation. I had some things I have to do to catch up. I had some business things come up that I had to take care of, and I thought that I would be able to come back. I actually left the office 1 o'clock or so, and I thought I'd be able to come back, but I just didn't get a chance to get back in time to do a chart lesson. So no chart lesson yesterday, if you were wondering what happened. So sorry, I had a slight interruption there, but yeah, but no chart lesson yesterday. So let's talk about the trades I saw today. It was kind of an odd day, really. It was really odd up until this point when the movement kind of picked up again and you were able to find this channel. But prior to that, it just looked like I mean, this is just congestion right here. It's got an upward bias because prices are going up, but I really thought we would probably turn back down and try to make a new low, and that just didn't happen. We continued to find support along this trend line right up through here and resistance off this high up here, which we finally shot through there. We had a nice move up right here. I think the sellers finally gave up, and we came back and we tested this breakout up here, which is fairly common uh, to what you'd probably see on a day like this. But this was really confusing in here if you didn't, if you weren't using your short-term trend lines and following them, and until you finally got these last couple of bounces here, it became obvious. You could find this line up here pretty quickly, but I just wasn't convinced when we went on through here and turned up, went a little lower and turned up. Then we didn't quite bounce right on it. Maybe this is a little lower. It could be that this is just a little bit lower like so. But I believe that to be it right there. It just wasn't um, real easy to figure out what was going on here. It was just messy. And the clues are that you look how you're swinging on both sides of the EMA. Um, there's a trap or two in here that I circled, but notice there's not a lot of trades in here except the traps. Until we it was pretty obvious that we had this other channel working higher here. So, but let me talk about the trades. I mean, you had a good opportunity early on to make some good money. There was a nice long here. Notice that it's kind of a trading range day. We get this failed break lower here that reverses, and you get a second entry short, but you don't want to be going short right there into that support, and then you get the failed second entry short that reverses right here. So I like going long right there. It's basically right off that support area, which is really what we're testing right now. Again, we've tested it once, twice, and we're trying to test it again here. So, but you bounce right off that. Quick, easy scalp, and then you're working down. This is like a breakout pullback short. Um, it's a little two-legged correction back to the EMA. It's a nice bearish bar. I still think it's really aggressive going short right into that where we bounced before. So, I didn't feel comfortable making that one, circling that in red. I think it's got to be considered a little more aggressive going short into that support because how many times has it bounced lately? But when it pulls back and you get the failed second entry long and that fails and turns down, um, and that's really just another breakout pullback short from that area. And you can see the little retest. Let me make this a little bigger maybe. And you get that retest again, it turns down. So I really liked going short there. No way you should be entering anything after that point until here, and then you kind of get a little first entry long, second entry long, and that kind of trapped everybody, and it turns down right off that. I would have used the limit order here, and you would have got filled on it. And you might have even thought about going short here, but now you've moved down so far, and you just don't know it's going to go that low. Um, and it just shoots right on down, and it does kind of overshoot the channel there. And it may be that this channel is a little steeper. I may not have drawn it properly. Let's just look at that because I really expected a retest here that never came, but it may be because I didn't draw this exactly right, so let's make it a little steeper, like so, and see what we get here, because that looks a little better. And if you pull that up, you get a little, you still really never get a close outside that line, no matter, but that does look better. You can see how much better, how much neater that fits with prices, with it turning down right off that trend line, and then you finally get the push to a new low. But we never have made a retest. It just couldn't do it. Prices just continued to chop higher. I think we were just overdone right here. Um, but that's what I saw early on. And there were some really nice trades early on to make you some good money here. Um, and then, of course, there's a short trap here. Notice the new low. First entry short, pull back, second entry short. Um, I went back and forth about whether or not to make this one green, but I think everything you need there, we're way overdone. We are kind of close to the EMA. You'd prefer this to be a little further away. But with that trap, especially with that nice bearish bar there, and I'm sure there's some people that got, a lot of people that got trapped short, but if you draw your little trend line right off there, you know that you've had no show of bearishness yet. You didn't get any till right here, your first close outside, and then you push to a new high. But you never really get a short set up here to take you short, and so you get another trap and you get to go long again. But let's talk about, but notice this new low and you're pulling back. There's your first entry short. You pull back again, and there's your really bearish setup with a short. I mean, it was so tempting to take that, but after I moved down that long, and you're not even back to the EMA yet, you're probably going to get that. So you know, the fact, if you'd had a break of the trend channel already and then a new high, then maybe you take that one. But, and if you did get trapped there, you know, nothing much you can say. There's three overlapping bars. This one's definitely looks like a doji right here. It almost closed on its high. It's not a great doji, but it's close enough that there's, you know, with all this going on, not back to the EMA, that you probably just need to sit on that one. If you got trapped, you just got to exit when it turns up. And if you didn't, you see what would have happened to you. But I like that to the long side, and I don't think you can go short there because you don't have a break of this trend line coming up through here yet. You don't get your break till here, and then you turn up right there, and there's actually off this high you try to go low once, twice, and so you really tested that top three times there, and you know what happens when you get that double test of something that's been tested. It probably fails. It goes the other way. You had to, it didn't go quickly like I thought. I thought it would really rocket on up, and it didn't. But if you had your stop where it belongs and you hung on, you would have gotten out of this trade. You had to ride this out. And if you got shaken out of this one, you know, there's not much you can say because it definitely, I definitely thought about exiting myself, but I held on and this worked out. And then you get another, this is like a breakout pullback long right here. Again, it's another trap. Let me show you. You've got a first entry short there. You got this new low, first entry short, second entry short. It fails. It gives you a nice little bullish bar. And this one actually takes off finally. I just figured it would probably meander on up like the rest and, you know, you'd get your scalp. But evidently they finally had a lot of people trapped to the low side. And I'm sure people were loading up to the low side here and they all had to exit right here. And then now you finally get your new high. You got a couple legs up to a new high, so now you got your trend working down. I don't think you can go short right there, but when it broke, turned lower and turned back up, and you get a failed second entry long, just go short right there. Boom, easy scalp, and then you're bouncing again. And you know, I really, again, I thought, hey, we're going to make a move to a new low, but just follow your trend line and notice you never get another setup till right here, and look what happens by that time. You're stacking up again. Look at all those dojis in there and sitting inside, but don't go short out of that. Don't go long or short out of that. That should be circled in the, let's just go ahead and do that. I hadn't been putting that on there as much, but that definitely is an area you just have to sit tight and wait on something to happen. Wait on a trap or something. Uh, Just sit tight. But then notice the new low. First entry short, pull back, second entry short, and it fails and turns up. And, you know, and even though this is not a strong trend, we're making higher highs and higher lows all the way up through here. So, you know, the bias is upwards. So And again, it turns out to be a nice trap, and it rockets up again. And then now you got some confirmation of this first two swings, and it turns down right off of it. So just drag that line down if you didn't already kind of have something sitting there wondering, because you do have some lows right across here. It may be more like that right there. Now that I made this a little bigger, I'm thinking that's it right there. And we just didn't even get back to it right there, to be honest. So that looks really good now that I made it larger and you could actually see those closes right across there. It would have been hard to find this unless you compared it off the top or until you got a couple more closes up here. I wasn't real sure about this till maybe this bounce, definitely this bounce here is when I really started to like it. Um, if I'd have seen this earlier, I may have taken this bounce with that big bar. If this would have broke higher and closed higher, I would have liked it more. So I just don't see any reason. You got your short-term trend line. I don't have it on there, but if you draw it, there's no reason to go long there. You get your break here and your retest attempt, and of course it bounces off but the reason it bounces there is the trend line's there. And it breaks lower, goes higher. You might have tried to use a limit order here, and you could have gotten filled all the way back to here. But by the time this is working lower again, I wouldn't have held on any longer. If I didn't get filled here, or maybe a couple of ticks back into this thing, I doubt I would have waited to enter here. You're just starting over basically by the time it gets over here. But there's enough reason to enter. You put your stop where it goes. Um, and I can't remember how many points this was, so you may not have been able to get your stop below this, but your entry would have been 43.50, so make that 41.50, so your stop would have been right there, and you still would have been safe. And although a lot of people are probably not going to ride that out, so if you did enter on this one, you had to keep it. That's why we teach to put your stops where they, in certain spots, because that's what protects your stops from getting run. This is just a little stop run to come back before it takes off again. And notice this here. You get a first entry long, pull back, second entry long, and where does it bounce? It bounces right off this same support resistance area that we were kind of fighting right across here all along. And you got your low and you tested it 1, 2, and if you count all those bars 4 or 5 times, and you get a little bitty bar right there, just go long right there. And that's a second entry long. It's really on a bigger picture a failed second entry short. There's actually another little push down, but that's like one move down, a little two-legged move up, and a second move down is all that is. So you got a trap, you got a second entry long there. You got a little bitty tiny bar right off of strong support. Look how many times we tested that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nothing could close below that. So I like that for a nice second entry long there. And look at it go. You don't know that it's going to do that, but you're just hoping to get a scalp out of it. And that's the way the market is. And all of a sudden it rocketing up. They must have, when it broke higher here, the shorts really gave up. And what's happening is there's a lot of people that are just getting short in here and don't understand what's going on. And they aren't paying attention that we're making higher highs and higher lows. They aren't paying attention that the EMA is pointing up. They don't notice that there's probably a channel working up here. There's just all kind of things that people just don't understand about price action and what this chart is telling you right here. And so you got to learn to understand all that stuff to be able to figure this stuff out. And once you do, it's like when a light goes off, it's like, I wonder why I never noticed that before. It was there, you just didn't notice it. And you needed somebody to point it out to you and help you figure out how to find it where you could start seeing it. But anyway, that was the last trade I marked today. That got us into the lunch hour. And again, I apologize, no chart lesson yesterday. I had some things going on, and I thought I'd be able to get back to the office in time, and I couldn't. So, however, we should be back on track. I'll be back again tomorrow to do the chart lesson. And seemed like there was something else I wanted to mention. I can't remember what it was. A lot of distractions for me this week. I haven't traded full-time day yet. I've just kind of traded part-time this week. So I hope your trading is going well, and we will be back to do this again tomorrow. Looks like we're still working higher here, and not surprised, but everything's still above the EMA, It wouldn't surprise me to see another measured leg like this one from here up, and that's probably going to get you. Well, let's just see where it gets us real quick. Probably to the highs of the, probably to a new high for the day. And that's exactly where it takes you, back up to these highs. You can see that right there. Exactly to the tick for the most part, to the tick, back to the same spot. So that would be my target if we continue higher here. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.